Aloha, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai. So here we are. I'm Reverend Rita. That's Reverend Patrick, Jeremy and Amy Brown, our musicians and musical directors, and we welcome you here today. And before we get started, we are going to start with announcements. And we invite up Michelle LeMay to give us our announcement. She is our CSL Kauai reporter. We love it.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you all doing? Great. Awesome. We've got some great things coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Do you want to move this? Next Sunday is the first event that's going to be coming up. It's going to be the celebration for the International Day of Peace. CSL, Reverend Patrick and Reverend Rita represent CSL in what is called IROC for short, but it is the Interfaith Roundtable of Kauai. And what that is, it's a collaboration of all the different faiths and religions here on island, and they put on different events. So their next event is going to be Monday from 3 to 7 down at Lidgate at the Big Pavilion. So please come down, and if you have your CSL t-shirts, it's great for you to come down and represent CSL. If you don't have t-shirts, still come down and represent CSL. And there's going to be speakers and prayers and international food from Kauai chefs and just a lot of activities for kids. So there's just a lot that's going to be happening there to celebrate this special day of international peace. And there's flyers out back for it, and then also another celebration on Monday that I just learned about that is going to be from 5 to 8 on Monday, and it starts at the Storybook Theater in Hanapepe, and again, it's to celebrate the International Day of Peace, and there is a flyer for that out back as well. And then here with CSL, we take we have opportunities to take classes and workshops and different events. We have 2 that are going to be starting in the next couple of weeks, and they're both classes that are going to be taught in Lahui, and they're both 10 weeks long, and it's more for in-depth study of the philosophy. The first one is going to be on Wednesday nights, and it is called Spirits in Rebellion, and this is going to be a teaching and learning of all the different metaphysicians and philosophers that Ernest Holmes grabbed from little bits from everybody, so we're going to get to learn from all those people, and there's going to be different books, and it's a little bit more varied than the one that's on Thursday nights. That's the Science of Mind Foundations class, and that's going to be right from the Science of Mind Foundation textbook, so it's studying from that book. With both the classes, as I mentioned, they're 10 weeks long. It is very important to register ahead of time because there has to be a certain amount, especially for the Science of Mind Foundation class, there has to be a certain amount of students to be able to run the class, and they have the space held. So if you're considering it, if you're kind of on the fence, or if you know for sure that you want to take it, you can sign up at the back, or you can also go on to CSL Kauai's website, which is cslkauai.org, to register and to pay, so that the reverends have an idea on how many and what the and especially if you have questions, definitely speak to someone who's taken the classes or the reverends. Lately, we've been having a lot of changes, and we've had a woman by the name of Donna Apilado Schumacher step up to be the volunteer coordinator. If you've been coming on a regular, you've seen her share. She's not here today, but I wanted to speak about what she is doing. And she is helping the reverends and the center coordinate people for service and to take service opportunities. And there's lots of opportunities available. I know for me, getting into service was one of the best ways to really become a part of and get involved. And I receive a lot from doing service, which tends to be what happens when we do service. We receive a lot. And next week is going to be a special Sunday, so we are putting out the call for extra help. And we do ask for some people to make a commitment to come early, about 8 o'clock, to help set up. And then, of course, after, we're always looking for people to help break down. We've had people make a commitment to be able to do that. So if anybody is able to do that, you can let me know or the reverends after the service today. And of course, we have Rob up front doing the live stream. So hello to everybody out there. We have people on island that watch us, And then we have lots of people on the mainland that watch our service live, and then it is recorded and put on YouTube every week after the service. So if you know people who are interested in what's going on, definitely let them know. It's also on the website, cslkauai.org. There's always a blast that goes out on the Facebook page, so you can like CSL Kauai's Facebook page and get those updates, get those links. But also for people who travel and you want to keep in touch with the center, we've had lots of people who've gone off island on vacation this summer, and because of Rob, they've been able to keep in touch with us. And of course, members. We have members that are on the mainland too, so they get to watch. And speaking of membership, if you are wanting to become a member, the next membership Sunday, which is when you come up and be recognized, is in a few weeks on September 27th. So people who are wanting to become members, there are membership forms in the back. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and enjoy your service.
Thank you, Michelle. I love it when you do that. That's very helpful. So I don't think we have any children here today. Nope, no children here today, at least not yet. So we won't be sending our children out.
Inner child.
A lot of inner children here, I'm sure. So I guess we're ready to go into our time of meditation. So Patrick will bring the peace candle up, and we always remind ourselves every Sunday that peace begins within. Nowhere else. It begins within and then goes out into the world from
And
there.
if I could just add, on Friday we all know that the 9/11, we remembered and celebrated their lives that we believe that are still continuing and still right here in this room, right here and right now. And I know peace for them, their families, and for all of us who are still healing from that day. So, go.
Thank you, Reverend Patrick. All right, so everybody can just take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Take another one. Down deep. Just let it out slowly. We are supported by an infinite universe, a divine presence that resides within each of us, that's always holding us in its grace and love. So we can breathe into that space as we sit here quietly for a few moments. And I have a little seed thought for you to take in with you. And it is this. Home is not a place. It is a feeling. There is an ever-available feeling within each of us that is home. Relax into that feeling. And so home is not a place, it is a feeling. There is an ever available feeling within each of us that is home. As we bring ourselves gently back into the awareness of this room and space and time, but staying centered, I just recognize that one presence, that one home, that one divine place as residing within each and every one of us. And I celebrate that here today, knowing that we each bring that place with us to this service, and that everything unfolds from that place for the highest good of each of us, individually and collectively, and for the world also. So I just bless this time and I just release it. I let it go. And I just say, and so it is. Welcome again. Take a deep breath.
There's such a peaceful feeling in here, isn't there? There's just this wonderful, or am I just feeling it by myself? I don't think so. I don't think so. I can feel that happening in this room. So,
Very loving.
welcome, welcome, welcome. Aloha.
lot to share today,
We
right?
do,
Where you want to
indeed.
start?
I'd like to start with what science of mind is.
Oh,
Just,
right.
that's what I'd like.
It's got to keep me on track, so I.
She wants to jump ahead,
I know
but we
jump
that's
ahead.
not
I've been
gonna
like that
happen.
all week. I just wanted to jump ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So for those of you who might not know, and I like to say it every week, just in a different way, and just to let you know that the science of mind and spirit it's a universal, ancient wisdom that doesn't have like a religion really that it says it is. Even though its organization is a religious organization, it is just an ancient wisdom that says that the divine presence is in and through all creation, that's who we are, and that our mission statement is we awaken humanity to its magnificence. So that's what we do, to understand that space, that amazing energy, that divine presence, that source of all is who and what we are, incarnated just perfectly as we are right here and right now. And that we bring that to our lives and then watch our lives expand and grow and just be all that we can in this world as we share our time here on this earth plane.
Aren't you glad we didn't jump ahead?
Yeah, thank you.
So who is here for the very first time? I know there's, So right over here, For you. It's a very bright envelope. There we go. Welcome, welcome. These two right here. One more. And
Thank you.
before you find out what's in that envelope, anyway, you'll find out later. But what we do know about you is that something has been told about you, has come through us, and we just want you to know that even though you're here for the first time, we know something about you, and we're going to tell you. Are you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, ready? You are magnificent. Wow, but you've already, I've been doing this, we've been doing this for a long time, we will always do it, but it was really funny, as I always say, something about you and you're like, oh really? How did that happen?
I heard it through the coconut
And
wire.
she's like looking at her husband going, what have you been talking about? But really the smile is so big and I'm going, what happens if one day we actually pass it out and no one smiles? They just go, I wouldn't know what to do. So we know this about you simply because we know this about ourselves. There is no way we can ever think anyone is magnificent. There's no way we can love out there until we love in here. And that's where it starts, and that's where the magnificence starts. I feel a lot of emotion today. I like that. It's good. Emotion is good. And we know that because we know that about ourselves, shall we?
Yes.
I am magnificent. Just think, if when we were very little, that's all we ever said about ourselves. That we walked around, I am magnificent in the playground, hitting those, you're magnificent, catch this. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's not too late. It starts right now, every moment to remember that. So, now we get to make a few comments. Okay, if you're here for the first time, we've been going through a lot of changes. Just see these few gray hairs that have now just... We've been going through a lot of changes. We've been here at the Aloha Aston for over 2 years now. And this has been our home. And now they're making changes. And changes are good. It's like the wind that blows, right? They're good. But sometimes they feel a little, what's the word? Frantic. Because we're in need to a new place. So the announcement is, last week we said we will have a place. Well, we do. And it's temporary, because it has to be, because it's small. And our whole idea is to grow. But right now we're in negotiations for a bigger place that is a full-time facility, that we can have it all week. And we don't have to rent over there and rent over here. And people will know that you have a home 7 days a week, whether it be to have a spiritual practitioner session, it's just our next evolution. So please know in consciousness, as that's being worked out right now, that is a done deal. And in the meantime, we're all going over to the Lemongrass restaurant. And
in the meantime, that's where we're going. So I pumped up the other so you get all excited. And then here's the deal. It is smaller. It's
Not
a
too
little,
much,
not too much, but it's lovely. It's on the second floor, so it has all the windows.
It's in Kaua'i.
It's in Kaua'i.
Lemongrass. It's by the Shell Factory.
And you'll have your coffee, and you'll have your water, and you'll have all of those kind of things. But
The seats are comfortable too.
yes, oh, very, and the people there are just really willing with us because we let them know that this was temporary as well. And these two gentlemen just went in there and they fixed things up, and we met with them yesterday, and they said we'd love to host you until your place arrives. So that took a lot of pressure off of us for a moment, because there was no way that we are not going to meet every Sunday. There was no way that was going to happen. I just would like to treat for a little bit less of the 11th hour, and that's something I'm working out in my life. That I know I love a little roller coaster experience, but let's do things ahead of time, shall we? Okay, so then we have the other announcement.
Right. And okay, so the topic of our talk is Home Alone, which we're going to be talking about. And the reason for that is because Patrick and I have been approved to be paneled for our ordination. Now you might say, "Oh, I thought you were already ordained," but it's a process at Centers for Spiritual Living that you have to have a center and be like put in 6,000 hours of time as a minister before you can actually go to the next step of ordination. So although we're licensed ministers and senior ministers of the center, we're not ordained. So we're going to California to be paneled to be ordained. It's very exciting and it's really deep, and it's like the next stepping up for us as our life as a minister. So in order to be able to do that, we have to leave you guys
for a weekend.
And we feel really bad about it. It's like leaving your kids for the first time. But fortunately, we have a very dear friend. His name is Reverend Jay Willick, who just happened to be coming to Kauai that week. We worked it out with him that he is going to step in for us next weekend. And he's delightful, and he's a wonderful man. We went to school with him, and he's so excited about coming and sharing at CSL Kauai. It makes me cry. He's just so honored and just so excited about it. He's going to go to the National Day of Peace and represent us there. So we just want you to come out next Sunday and support him. You'll have a chance to hear somebody else talk besides us, and he's wonderful and funny, like I said.
And he's probably watching, so I know you'll be brilliant.
He
said he wants to watch to make sure the flow of the day. So Rita and I, as we're sitting there, as it goes, okay, we're live.
Anyway, so he will, and then we'll be back on Monday. So, that's why we're so grateful that this other thing went through, so we don't have to worry about it while we're gone, and we know that we're going to have a place on October 4th to go to. And who knows, maybe the other place will open up before October 4th. But right now, that's what's happening. And
the
grateful.
ordination ceremony
will be in January.
It'll be January 10th, so that'll be the big.
It'll be like a big
pavilion.
It'll be a big celebration.
Yeah. So all that we do there is we go there. They say yay or nay.
Well, they panel us.
They panel us, and then we come back ordained, and then we celebrate with all of you.
Yeah. And if we don't, we'll celebrate anyway. We don't care.
Wow. We're here all week.
In case you were listening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're not taking it for granted. We're just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so that's the news, and it's all good, and we're moving
So
forward. It's been quite a week of deep breaths all week long. We'll talk more about that later. All right. So
and we've also been singing your opening song all week. Trust me. Every time we go into someone, we said, "Here's that song." So why don't we open up with it? Shall
we brought it back because we definitely need the honey to start blowing.
Yes. You can stand if you feel.
It's our favorite song.
Loving in the world, away, away, so much loving in the world, living together as one, under the golden sun, living
is cleansed right here, right now, there is something great happening. And that's each and every one of us. That is Spirit moving through and as us. Take a deep breath. And allow that wind. The wind of change is good. We celebrate it. No fear. We celebrate change. We celebrate love. We celebrate who we are. We celebrate our magnificence. Spirit is alive and doing well right here and right now. So with so much gratitude for each and every one of us, knowing that is on purpose. This moment is on purpose. Every moment after this moment is on purpose. Divine purpose. I listen, I feel, I am that I am. So together with such mahalo just pouring from our heart, we say, and so it is. Now. Away, away, so much loving in the world. Away, away, so much loving in the world. Living together as one, under the golden sun. Living together as one, under the golden sun. Over the younger generation, there's my soul. We're giving vibration, there's my soul.
All this love.
Okay, so I'm going to keep breathing today.
More.
I have something very special to do today with Patrick. Last 8 weeks, we, this group of spiritual warriors, have met at Kaua'i Beach at 8 a.m. in the morning, religiously, every day, well, not every day, twice a week, to do something called Mental Muscle, 8 weeks of spiritual boot camp, where these beautiful spiritual warriors have delved into their minds, into their souls, and did some makani cleansing, and brought up things that were standing in their way of their lives, and actually looked at them and said, boom. No. And actually talked them out in a group setting and released a lot. And they really, really made this commitment. And I'm just so grateful. I mean, we started with 12 people. We ended with 8. And it was a lot of a commitment to do that and to really go deep. And it just went deeper every week. And so we want to just celebrate them today. So we're going to ask them to come up. And we have some kukui leis for them, which represent light and spiritual wisdom, and for them to have, because we consider them spiritual light bearers for what they did and continue to do in their lives. So they're not in any particular order, but Inaya Hartson. They're not all here today, I know. Lori Chicatello, who's not here, I don't think.
There you go, Rick.
And here, Anaya. Marco Kowalski.
Who never missed one day.
And was on time.
Okay. Michelle LeMay.
We have so much
Ronald Stover,
Yeah!
Who was always on time also.
yay.
Oh, there you go.
Sola, Radiance. Steve Buckenoff, who is not here. Never missed the day. And Trish Cordes, who is not here. So, we're going to ask you just to say one little thing, and we really mean one little thing. I time them at boot camp. They all got like, I have a clock, but I'm not going to set a time. I just trust you to say just in 1 or 2 sentences from this. Okay?
Oh, like just like changed my life. And I learned a lot about myself and my friends.
There we go.
I think you should do it.
I found it very revealing about my thoughts and my beliefs, and it was definitely a life changer. I agree with Ron.
Yeah, I think for me that if you look at the book, Mental Muscle, and you look at the 16 different questions that you would ask your mind, it was really powerful, you know, to go into expectations, beliefs, thoughts, complaining, no complaining, you know, do you exist? Do you want to exist more? You know, things like that. And how do you show up in the world? But it's like, you know, for me, it's the mental muscle. Like, I'm physical, yeah, but it got me to go in and chew up. Like, how is my mind thinking? So, you know, if you ever get a chance, check it out. And when you're there, I'll probably be there at the next one too, because I'm a slow learner.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for the process. It definitely is a boot camp. It's a lot. It's takes a lot of focus, and I'm really thankful to you, Rita, for your discipline and holding the hard line on us with overflowing love at the same time. So, thank you so much.
It was a wonderful support group to meet twice a week at the beach and to have the opportunity to go delving into areas that are things I think about all the time, but to have the chance to share, it was, you know, a little bit uncomfortable sometimes to bring that out, but it always made me better, and I will keep with me the encouragement to meditate and journal as much as I possibly can. And so I will also be in the next one.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. It just, thank you for all I received from it also, from being in your presence. Okay. Aloha. Aloha. Yes. Mental Muscle is a program that was conceived by Reverend James Mellon, who lives in North Hollywood, and it was his creation, and I actually did 12 of them with him. So that you can repeat over and over, but it does take dedication and then bringing it into your life, because every time you do it, you just go deeper, because there's always more to uncover and to embrace. So yes, so thank you, James Mellon, for that. And what was I going to say? There was something deep I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. All right. Oh, the next one is going to be offered in January, because it needs a little break and they need to integrate it into their lives a little bit. But in January, we will offer another one. And I'm assuming at Kaua'i Beach, because that was a really good place to do it. All right. So with that said, we're ready to move on. And we will move on with some special music from Jeremy and Amy.
People need is a way to make them smile. It ain't so hard to do if you know how. Gotta get a message, get it on through. More than a mama Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music all the time. Well, I know you know better. Everything I say, meet me in the country for the day. Feeling good, feeling fine. Whoa, gonna dance the blues away. If I'm feeling good to you and you're feeling good to me, there ain't nothing we can do or say. Feeling good, feeling fine. Oh, baby, let the music play.
You guys know the words.
Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music all the time. Like a lazy rolling rivers, surrounding castles in the sky, and the crowd is growing bigger. Listening to the happy sound, but have to let it fly. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music all the time. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music all the time.
Thank you so much.
Very well.
Oh, yeah, better believe it is. We don't want anything that's not going up, right?
That's right.
Lazy river. Things are getting bigger. I love that. I love that. Okay, so our little theme today, our message is about Home Alone. Has everybody seen that movie about the little kid who his parents left him? Actually, I should probably rephrase that. It's a little depressing when you think of it that way. They forgot him. They forgot him at the airport. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Because one time I mentioned a movie and someone came up to me afterwards and they said, you know, it'd be really nice. Not everybody watched the movie. So I went, So is everybody clear about Home Alone, about the little boy? Okay, good. Because the talk has nothing to do with that. I just like the little picture of when he's, you know, putting his hands like, So it made me think of, for me, what came up is this idea of latchkey. Do you remember the latchkey kids? And I never even knew about latchkey till I was like, you know, in my 30s, that I was one, right? Because I got the key underneath the door, you know, that gets me in the house. My mother was working and my father was working, so I didn't have a problem with it, and I don't think a lot of people do. I mean, it was just the way things were done in my generation, and but I thought of that whole idea of being alone so much. And I had an older brother who was 7 years older, and let's just put it this way: we weren't the best. I mean, we lived in the same house, but 7 years is a lot. So there's a lone feeling with that, and so I remember how much I got out of being alone. It taught me a lot about responsibility, because for me, I knew I had to be really responsible because my mom was out working. And I couldn't cause any trouble, which kind of messed up my childhood. But I was one of those overly responsible, like, you know, I don't want to. And my brother was, rest his soul, not quite as responsible during that. So, but what I learned to do was to trust. And that's what my message is really about today, about this idea of alone. and this idea of just being able to trust. And when I was there by myself, I had to trust. I had to trust that I was safe. I had to trust that I could do it. And it's very interesting looking back, I always lost my key. That's why every time that they would, and it was one of those, my mother's passed away too, so I can say anything I want about any of my family members. We weren't really allowed to go to the neighbors to say I lost the key because they would know you were a latchkey then. So you were supposed to go in the house and do that, that alone time. So it was very interesting that I always lost the key. So the key, which told me something. But I learned a lot about myself. And I was thinking about leaving this this next Sunday. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot to other people, but Rita and I kind of have this mother-father thing going on, with us. And you're like our beautiful children. And it's so strange because I thought, I haven't had children of my own, Rita has, but I thought, oh my God, it's that parent separation anxiety. With my children, I could not have done because we feel like, oh my God, it's like, are they okay? Are they okay? And it's like leaving them with, like Jay, I love you. It's like leaving them with the sitter, right? And you're like, and you're like, I mean, I know you guys don't feel that way, but for my heart, Rita and I have always made a point that if we went off island, she went, I stayed, I went, she stayed. And so this is very healthy. Just some information about this. We realized that this is healthy and that the beautiful light beings are going to be just fine and that everything is going to be okay and that we can trust. Trust ourselves that we have raised you the best we could. And all I can picture when this live thing goes on is everybody's like, party! No. So, this has been a month for me personally. I never speak for my wife. It would just not be a good idea. I speak from myself that this has been an incredible, whatever I thought I have known about trust, I have learned a deeper level of what it really is. Because this whole idea of trust and being alone is what has, for me, I realize this is all about recommitting. It's about recommitting for us, for me. That we have a center that was installed over 2 years ago, and now we're going to the next level, and it was time to recommit. Rita and I went down to behind the Kauai Beach Resort where we started 3 years ago when we came on vacation. Rita and I had our first service back there. We said we've decided that we're going to come here and start this thing called CSL Kauai, and her and I went out on the beach and she sang and I did a talk and the crabs were thrilled. We did it to the ocean and we just said, we're here, we're coming. Wow. And look where we are. Look where we are. And then there's the last part of this idea of me, the trust I learned as a child and was able to carry it. Now the trust I have that we have built the consciousness here and it's okay that we take off and come back and everything is fine and there's the trust. And then there's the trust in God. Now one interesting point about this, science of mind, religious science, new thought, call it whatever you want. It's a little scary because we are raised as go-to people. Right? When you want something, you go to this, you go to that, you go to this, you go to the doctor, you go. And so when we go to God, we had to go to God. So what this philosophy has invited us to feel is that we don't go to God, we come from God. And that's powerful, but it can also feel lonely. Because we're very, very go-to people. You got a problem, you're like, hey God, I mean, if you knew the negotiations I made as a child with God, oh my gosh. And it's amazing. So now there's that feeling when you have this philosophy that you're going, oh, what, help, you know, and you're like, oh, help. Oh, I'm home. I'm home alone, but never alone. And so this has been one of my understandings, and I do get it. I do get why it's difficult at times to go inside and say that I am God.
Ooh.
Hello! Somebody just got their wings. So I love it when that happens. But that is my lesson for me, and my message for you. That laughter is the cure-all. It really is. And that when I went right down, as they say in chorus line, to this center of my soul, to see what I had inside, I realized I had never been alone. I will never be alone. And that everything I have ever needed was right here. And sometimes, like this week, when I got trapped in some conditions out there, I forgot. And I thought my gods were in realtors. I thought my gods were in plane reservations and ticketing. I thought that's where my God was for a moment. And then I just stood back and remembered who I am and who you are. Let's take that's a lot of breaths today. As I just, it's as close as that breath. I love you, and I will turn this over to the beautiful, beautiful Reverend Rita.
It has been quite a week. And although I wasn't going to mention the movie, I am. I didn't watch the movie again, and it's been a while since I saw it, but I just started watching the trailers and stuff of Home Alone, and I just got it. And the log line was the best, and it's kind of like what I want to talk about today. The log line, meaning, you know, the premise of the movie is yesterday he was just a kid, but tonight he's a home security system. How perfect is that for Science of Mind? Because, yeah, I mean, in the movie, like, he's just, like, terrified, and then all of a sudden those burglars come in, and then he figures out how to, you know, shimmy the whole house and keep them away, and he's a home security system. It's like, it's amazing. So, just like Patrick said, we have this home security system that's within us. And we have a quote in the Science of Mind that goes like this, that I always go back to, and it's, "One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority." One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. And Ernest Holmes goes on to say, "Knowing this in your thought, work in perfect peace and calm. Always expect the good," he wrote in capital letters, "always expect the good. Have enthusiasm, and above all, have a consciousness of love." One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. And what this means to me is that no matter what's going on, and no matter who I think is out to get me or whatever, all those crazy games we play with ourselves, no matter what other people say, no matter how many times people tell you it's not possible, no matter how many times you tell yourself it's not possible, you can always go back to knowing that one alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. That's all you need. That's all we need to bring peace on earth, is one alone in consciousness. Because every time we think, every time we have that deep feeling of something, it goes out into the world and affects people. It affects the consciousness of everyone. One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. So this week, Did I practice it at every moment? No. I had to keep going back and taking breaths. That's the whole thing about what self-mastery is. It's not about having a perfect life. It's about taking your life and realizing that it's perfect in every moment, and you get to meet it with this one alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority, and to keep going back. Well, this week, I had to take so many breaths, and at one point, things went really haywire, and I thought there was no way back to this place that we're negotiating, because something went really haywire, and it was like, oh my God. And then everybody, not everybody, but certain people are telling us, no, it's not going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And all I could think is, oh, I messed up. I messed up by doing this. And then I remembered something. I remembered, and it hit me so strong, that principle is not bound by precedent, that I understood that all I had to do was treat again and know that I was starting from the present moment, that this law of my being didn't know about the mess up that I made. It didn't know, or thought I made. It didn't know about what came before or what anybody said. I could turn away from all that and treat from right here in the center of my being, one alone in consciousness with the infinite, constitutes a complete majority, and know that none of that mattered. And it just really came home to me, and I felt it. I felt it in the core of my being, and I tell you this because one of the biggest things that holds us back is our past. I noticed it, like we dealt with this in spiritual boot camp every single day. It was always something from the past that was holding us back from making a change. And because we couldn't forgive ourselves, we thought we messed up, all that kind of stuff. One alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority, and the present moment doesn't know about the past. So the only person that knows that is us. We're the only ones that are holding the fort back, or holding our lives back. So I really got that this week, and it made such a difference. And when I did that, and I did that treatment that day, that spiritual mind treatment, knowing that from that place, right after that, everything shifted. Everything started to run smoothly. Everything started to go. Everything started to just fall into place. And, I have a belief system. I was telling Michelle this before. I have a belief in a process. Some of us do. We don't, I don't necessarily think something's going to, happen like that all the time. I believe in process. So we're moving to this place. I'm relaxed now because I know we have a place to go, and then the next place will come. And I have that about myself. And yeah, would I like things to happen quicker? Yeah, sometimes I like I'm doing the hula. Sometimes I like them. That too. I like them to go quicker. But this is perfect because I know that the universe has my back, has our back, and that this is unfolding perfectly. It has to be. And when it was easy and graceful at the lemongrass, where these people just went, the guy came in early and took all the chairs up the steps and showed us how it would look, and he was just going out of his way to make it easy for us. And I said, this is the way it's supposed to work. This is the way it's supposed to work in our life. It is supposed to be easy and graceful. As soon as we find ourselves pushing and heeing and hawing and breathing heavy and all that kind of stuff and creating all kinds of stress, we are not. We've got to go back to treat again and to take a deep breath and to know that one alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. And we can start all over. That's a beautiful thing. So I just have to read you this quote because this is another one of my favorite ones by Ernest. And he said, and this is what I feel like we've been doing, the one who dares to fling his thought out into universal intelligence with the assurance of one who realizes his divine nature and its relation to the universe and dares to claim all there is will find an ever-creative good at hand to aid him. To the soul that knows its own divinity, all else must gravitate. That's what we're doing here. That's why we say every Sunday, I am magnificent. Not to be bloated up about it or think we're better than anyone else, but to know that we are magnificent. We're all that. we're not all of God, but all of what we are is God. It can never be absorbed by anything, that power. But every cell in our bodies, every part of us, every part of our mind and hearts is that divine nature, that divine thing. And we get to fling our thought into universal intelligence with that power. Yes. I love this teaching. I love what I do. And I'm grateful that I'm getting to go and tell whoever they are, these people on the mainland, how I feel about it. And like I said, if you're watching, too bad. Because I respect them and everything, but I respect myself, and I know who I am, and I know this teaching, and I love this teaching, and I don't need a badge or something to say, the day I had my ministerial panels, I was terrified. I thought they weren't going to take me. I was like up all night, thinking up all kinds of scenarios of why, when they gave me that envelope, it was going to say no. And then all of a sudden, when this calmness came over me to know that it didn't matter, that I was still going to go forward. I didn't know how, but I knew that this was what I wanted to do with my life. So one alone in consciousness with the infinite constitutes a complete majority. You're going to remember that now, right? I love you, and I'm going to miss you next week. I'm just like Patrick. It took me 9 years to leave my children alone. So anyway, I know, I will. I'll be blowing kisses. Oh, all right. So aloha, and I just love you. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. Namaste.
Oh my gosh, this is just a wonderful day. Hey, birthday girl.
Take a deep breath.
Yes.
Okay, so this is our time of affirmative giving, where we get to just give back, give from ourselves, whatever it is that we have to give, and knowing that it returns to us abundantly. It goes forth to prosper this ministry. It goes forth to prosper this island. We give out every month to the island to some event here, and this month, some of it's going to the Interfaith Roundtable for this beautiful day of peace. So just know what you give here really goes forward.
And I just want to add and invite
Thank
you,
you.
As the basket goes around, whether there's an envelope coming from you or whatever, what's really coming from us is the richness of our consciousness. So I want you to just put your hand, over that, and just so that when that comes back, that is so rich you couldn't even put a price tag on that. And I just want you to always be a participant. It's not what's being in there; it's the participation part of giving and receiving. It's a circle. Give and receive. Give and receive. So this isn't about to get the basket quick. This is about yeah, there you are. Yeah? Yeah? Okay.
So take us away,
Take
Jeremy.
us away.
Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am. Blessed am I, Spirit am I am the infinite within my soul. I have no beginning and I have no end. All this I am.
So what I know right here and right now is I just give thanks. I give great thanks. I am so grateful for what is in this basket, for the consciousness in this room, and for this great thing called spirit that runs and breathes and lives through each of us. Grateful for life. Grateful for the prosperity of life. I know that everything that is given here comes back to the giver 100-fold, 1,000-fold, 1,000,000-fold. It's just a circle of life just propelling us forward and spiraling upward at all times. And in gratitude, I just release this word. I release this word as law, knowing it is done as we say it together. And so it is.
Alrighty. I have a few thank yous. Okay, first of all, Michelle, thank you for always being so dynamic in giving those announcements. I watch her just completely just rolls out and just go, wow.
So good at
That's great. And our greeters, our beautiful greeters, Deborah and Reverend Suzanne, and another beautiful greeter was also Ron. I saw him all involved back there. So Stephanie will be back at the bookstore, and there's actually the Dalai Lama's on the Science of Mind.
The new
the
Science
new
of
one.
Mind magazine has some great articles. It's $5, and the Dalai Lama actually has
Great
some
stuff in
article
there.
too. So.
And then we have Harry, who met us at the door today as we've been church in a box, as they call it. So we drive up, and then, everything's all in the car, and there was Harry, and we brought it in there, and Amorosa came, and we called her the pretty.
Rob was
And Rob was here. We called her the pretty girl. She made everything look real pretty. And then Rob, and then Roseanne, who's not here, usually here, she did the programs and had you deliver them, right? And let me see, and our wonderful youth director was here, and she actually got to participate today because there wasn't any children today. So we bless you and was glad you were here. And Rob, who's on there, letting everyone know what we're doing here. Even our upcoming panels, they all know what we're doing. Wednesday.
And Rob brought this beautiful painting today
Yes.
too, and I love it. But anything to do with the ocean, thank you so much for that. It's
And our beautiful, I'm on beauty today, Jeremy and Amy, we missed you last week, but it's so nice to have you back, and thanks for being on this journey with us. We just love you. And anything did I miss? No, and we want to thank you for coming in here, and for those of you who are new, thank you. Thank you for bringing your smiles, thank you for bringing your love, thank you for just bringing your magnificence. And if you didn't remember it, I'm glad we had an opportunity to remind you.
And thanks for riding the wave with us.
Yeah. And if you're wondering if we're always like this, we are, pretty much. So, yeah, pretty much.
Riding the wave with me.
Oh, stop. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's good. It's all
Alrighty,
good.
I think we're
All
done.
right, I think we're ready to close.
So let's all get in a circle. We're going to do our beautiful Katie's favorite song. And so we'll get in a little circle here, yes?
Please note, I did change the words a little. Okay? While we're setting up, I'm just going to tell you that it's with love as our power, Ohana all are we. Okay, you might be familiar to the old words. Let's see. And it's a joyous vow, not a solemn vow. And that's it. That's all I can think of.
Is that too loud?
I think that was too loud. As long as we don't have to go screaming. Just start it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With love as our power, Ohana all are we. Let us
And so what I know in this moment, this full moment that we take this piece from our hearts, moment to moment, we go out into the world. We don't keep this love to ourselves. We share it. We go out and just share it, because that is what we are, our true identity. And I know that we have come here today, as I said before, on divine purpose. And we come from this place of good, and that we are never, ever, ever, ever alone. Because we are, in case you didn't hear it, one with the infinite. So knowing that, I just bless us and just know that today is perfect. This moment is perfect. And every moment after this moment, every breath after this breath is the breath of good. And we share it. We take it out into our island. We take it out into the world. We take it out into our lives. I know this. I am this. The I am that I am. As together with such mahalo in our spirit, we say, and so it is.
Take each moment and live each moment.